Howdy, everyone. Today we're doing chapter 3, maybe, hopefully. So chapter 3 is basically the psychology chapter that we're dealing with here. And yeah, let's just dive right in. So the main chapter, what we're discussing here is what's referred to as personality. And what you need to understand is that personality means the long-term way a person acts or long-term way a person expresses himself to other people, okay? And what's important here is the term, the part of that says long-term. I'm going to skip ahead in the slides and show you this slide here that talks about moods and emotions. So, okay, sorry. Moods and emotions. Hope you can see it there. Moods and emotions are the short-term way a person feels. So if you wake up in the morning and you feel like you're not in a good mood, that's a mood, okay? If you wake up every morning and you're sad, that's personality. So there's a difference between personality and moods and emotions. Personality is the long-term way a person acts, feels, versus the short-term way. So when we use the word trait, a trait is something that's just part of you. So one of the traits I have is that I have blue eyes. I am 183 centimeters tall. Those are traits. It's just part of who I am. So personality traits are the parts of your personality that are just part of who you are. The book likes to look at what's called the Big 5 personality traits. Now, I'll be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of the Big 5. I'm going to talk about it, and I'm also going to link you to a video that explains it better than I can, because, again, I'm not a big fan of the Big 5. So, but it's in our book, we have to cover it, so here we go. The first category, what the Big 5 looks at these are 5 characteristics: extraversion, negative affectivity, agreeableness, conscientiousness, and openness to new experience. And it looks at these 5 traits, 5 parts of who you are, and measures it from low to high on each one of them. So the first category that it looks at is extraversion. Extraversion, people who are high on extraversion are people who, in the Big 5 world of looking at it, is people who tend to experience positive emotions and moods and feel good about themselves and the rest of the world. So people who are high on this are there, and people who are low on that tend to feel more negative emotions, and yeah, so. The term negative affectivity, this is quite simply how a person looks, how a person projects themselves to other people. When I was teaching in the US, I was teaching students who I had them for many different classes. And I had this student who, during class, she would sit in class and just have this expression on her face. And as a teacher, I would see her with that expression on her face, and I just wondered, what is wrong? And I had her in many classes, I mean, because again, we had the same students over and over again. And after class, she'd come and talk to me, and everything was great. And so finally, one time when she came to talk to me, I said, do you realize when you're in class, you have a very I'm unhappy look on your face? And she said, no, I enjoy class. I don't mean to look like that. And so she was not realizing what she was projecting to other people. And she started laughing, and she said, my friends often ask me if I'm angry, and I'm not angry. So apparently I give a look of anger and not even realize it. So the term of affectivity is what face, how do people perceive you? And in her case, people perceived her not the way she was actually feeling. She felt positive, but she projected something negative, okay? By the way, I know that I often give a look where I'm like, I give a look that I often don't mean. And so if you ever see me and I look down, I'm probably not down. I do this one too. The next category is what's called agreeableness. On this, for some of these categories, it's easiest for me to talk about people in my life. And I have a sister, Miriam, who scores very high on agreeableness. She is just one of the absolute nicest people I've ever met in my life. If Miriam's one of those people that if anyone has a problem with her, it's their problem, because Miriam means the best for everyone around her. And so there's just, I don't know how anybody could dislike her, because she's just a very caring, warm person. And so she would score very high on agreeableness, because her main goal is that people get along with each other. The next up is what's called conscientiousness. So conscientiousness is the degree to which a person is, the book definition here, careful, scrupulous, persevering. What that means in easier English, someone is conscientious if it is their goal to always do a good job. So conscientiousness is a measure of how much people want to do a good job, that they care about what they do. And then the next one is openness to new experience. And again, for this one, I'm going to use a family member to describe the difference. Openness to new experience is a measure of how much a person desires to try something new. And for this, I score very high on openness to new experience. I love trying new things. I love trying new foods. I love traveling to new places. In all my life, I've always wanted to try new things, okay? I have a brother who does not. My brother he enjoys, it's not that he doesn't enjoy doing new things, it's that he prefers staying in the routine that he has and staying with that more than trying new things. So, yeah, he knows what he likes and he likes to do it. So, so it says for people who are high to openness to new experience that they enjoy a wide range of stimuli, which is just a way of saying that openness to new experience, you know, I've gone jumping out of an airplane 3 times. I love jumping off a mountain with a parachute. I've never taken up scuba diving, but I would like to. I love trying new things. And so that is openness to new experience. Next category is the locus of control. Locus of control refers to where is the control in your life. People with an internal locus of control believe that the control in their life is with them. People with an external, whenever you see the word internal, think inside, and if you see the word external, think outside. Somebody with an external locus of control believes that the control is somewhere outside. People with an internal locus of control believe the control is inside of them. Somebody with an internal locus of control wakes up in the morning and says, I'm doing what I want to do. I'm living the life I want to live. Somebody with an external locus of control wakes up and says, I don't want to go to the university today. I don't want to do this. My family is making me. This is not what I want to do. So if you are somebody who believes you're in control of your life and you're doing what you want to do, then you have an internal locus of control. If you believe people are outside forcing you to do what you do, then you have an external locus of control. I sincerely hope that you have an internal locus of control. Now, again, the reason I first talked about moods and emotions, we all have days where we wake up and think, I don't want to do this today. This is not what I want to do. But I hope I can find a link to this for you. As Steve Jobs gave in a commencement speech, I think 2005, 2006, he said, if you have too many days in a row where you wake up and realize this is not what I want, what I have to do today is not what I want to do, then you need to find something new to do. And so I think that's good advice. Self-esteem. Self-esteem simply means the degree to which a person feels good about themselves. And the book makes the point that people with low self-esteem, so high self-esteem means you think very highly, you think a lot of your abilities, okay? Low self-esteem are people who think that they are not good at most things, okay? And the book makes some points about self-esteem, that people with lower self-esteem tend not to be as productive at work, often have fewer friends, and so forth, which I'll get to that in a second. High self-esteem is the idea that high self-esteem is the idea that I believe I'm really good. And if I believe I'm really good, then people are going to want to be around me because it's fun to be around people who are really good. It is. And yeah. Self-esteem sometimes is what I also refer to as a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you believe that I'm not good at anything, nobody likes me, I have no friends, if that is what you believe, then the people who are around you are like, oh, he's not fun to be around. And so then people will stay away from the person with low self-esteem. And when people stay away from the person with low self-esteem, that can make their self-esteem go even lower. That's what often leads to depression and other negative psychological side effects. Now, the book doesn't make this point, but I will. The too low self-esteem can be a problem, but I can sometimes argue that too high a self-esteem can also be a problem. And in class, the example I used is a really good friend of mine who, when we were in college and we'd play basketball, which for the record, I'm really bad at basketball, but when we'd play basketball and I was on a team with my friend Shep, Shep just shot the ball way too much. If in basketball, the goal is to pass the ball around until somebody has a good shot and they take the shot. And Shep far too often would take a shot even when he didn't have a good shot, because in his mind, he was a better basketball player than he actually was. And Shep has a very high self-esteem, and in his mind, he was a better basketball player than he was in real life, okay? Now, Shep is, in fact, a very good friend of mine, and this is him. And I mentioned to him in the summer of 2019, I mentioned to Shep, I saw him when I was back in the US, and I mentioned to him that I use him as an example of somebody with too high a self-esteem. And his response was, Steve, you're right. I have too high a self-esteem, but I was born and raised very poor, and I'm now the senior vice president of the 5th largest bank in America. That doesn't happen unless you have very high self-esteem. And I was like, good point, Shep, good point. That's a good place for me to end this video. We'll finish chapter 3 in a video or two more. See you soon.